Passion fatigue can happen suddenly. So if you're happy-go-lucky and all of a sudden a day or two goes by and boom, now you're somebody different, feeling all the things we've been talking about so far, maybe numbness, detachment, irritability, frustration, loss of empathy, anxiety, sadness, fatigue, low energy, sleep problems, headaches or body tension, withdrawal from others, reduced job performance, avoiding people or responsibilities, loss of motivation. All of a sudden, boom, those things hit you. Compassion fatigue. Burnout builds gradually. And you might suffer some of the same signs and symptoms. Emotional fatigue or compassion fatigue is emotionally driven. So you get the emotional fatigue there. Okay, you get that empathy overload. You're emotionally drained. Whereas burnout, you have the work environment, whether it's the systemic or the work environment driven burnout. And then compassion fatigue may include trauma-like symptoms, whereas burnout is more about exhaustion and frustration. So again, they're both kind of intertwined and they both need to be dealt with. But a lot of people just think it's burnout and then they try to handle it that way. And what they don't really realize is that it's more of a compassion fatigue. And no matter what you do to handle the burnout, okay, so burnout caused by workload and stress. So let's say you reduce the workload. Let's say you change the work environment. And let's say people take things off your plate. But if you don't deal with the compassion fatigue, you're still going to have problems. You're still going to have issues because they're two separate things. And you have to identify them as such in order to treat the problem. How many times do you go to the doctor and maybe you're going for one thing and maybe you got a couple things, it turns out. Maybe you've got like an ear infection and then maybe you've got and so they're going to treat the ear infection with an antibiotic, but then maybe you got a virus as well of something, a cold virus. You got a couple things that they got to work on. It's the same thing. They overlap. Compassion fatigue and burnout, they overlap, but they're not the same. So what can you do? What can you do to manage it? Maybe to prevent it? Well, the first thing is you've got to set emotional boundaries. You can care about people, but don't carry everything for them. Care, but not carry everything. Practice recovery time. Schedule time to mentally detach from your helping roles. Maybe have self-care that actually fuels you, like sleep, exercise, quiet time, hobbies. Maybe if you are a faith-based person, a spiritual person, maybe you read the Bible, maybe you pray. If you are spiritual, maybe meditation, whatever it is you do. Maybe you talk it out, get some peer support, a counselor, trusted conversations. I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that every therapist and counselor has a therapist or counselor they go talk to. I think it's like a part of that requirement, so to speak, in that world. If you're a therapist and you're listening to everybody's problems, you got to get that off your chest. And so I think it's ingrained in them that you need a therapist to go talk to offload. There's an outlet. So if that's the case, then yes, we should also be able to have someone that we can have conversation with. And not just any conversation, but trusted conversation.